Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group, coming to you today with a savage as fuck podcast with my homie, my boy, Jay, motherfucking rockstar Gearhart. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Real good, man.
Good.
I'm glad to finally nail you down, man.
We've been trying for a while.
I know, man. We've been trying to nail down a podcast and get the time to do it. It just happened that the stars aligned.
Yep.
And we are here today to talk about some really cool shit, because I recently got off a phone call with Jay the other night, and we was talking about some of his marketing success with TikTok and some of his marketing success with, of course, Facebook. Just organic on your Facebook page is huge. Mm-hmm. I keep stressing this to people. I'm just like, your personal profile is fucking really like where it's at, if you're not going to run ads and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And so there's a lot of power there because there's a lot of connection. I just believe anywhere that you can be connected to everybody that you know. And Jay's got a lot of supporters out there because not only has he been, prominent in the PDR industry, but now he is growing into the full blow motherfucking rock star industry. Like, the funniest thing, like, the name of his company was Rockstar PDR, and I was telling him, I'm like, you realize that by naming your company that, you were just planning in your subconscious that you are going towards being a rock star.
Oh, absolutely. It's if you want people to believe you're something, you have to drill that into their heads that that's what you are. And that was kind of where I was establishing the Rockstar PDR, and then now I've got the Rockstar J. It's like the branding doesn't take long to cross over when you're using that same title throughout multiple industries. And it's just it's been a fun ride so far, and I'm ready to see where I can take this thing.
So let's talk about this, because recently you guys hit number one. I'll let you kind of explain that.
Yeah, we did a Garth Brooks cover of the Thunder Rolls, and ended up what kind of triggered all that was one of our producers actually said, dude, you got to get on TikTok. You've got a personality to where I feel like you'd do good on there. So I'm like, whatever, so I sign up for a TikTok, and, took me forever to get, 400 or 500 followers. I hit 500 followers. I was like, oh, sweet, and, but then one of the videos that I made for the pre-save for Thunder Rolls, I actually had an idea for the marketing of it, and I did like an audio merge where it started out with Garth Brooks' version, and then it faded into our version right at the chorus where we really hit it hard. And that video, because people were familiar with Garth, his voice, and that song, it locked them in instantly. So I set that familiarity with them to where they heard that and they go, oh my God, I love this song. And they sat there and they watched the video. It was, I think, about a 30-second video. It ended up getting 5.6 million views within probably, 3 weeks or something like that, 2 or 3 weeks. And so the video went viral and sparked the pre-save, because I had a caption on it, pre-save link in my bio. And so we ended up with almost 60,000 pre-saves on it, which is a huge, like, there's major label artists that don't get those kind of pre-save numbers. so we ended up nailing it there and charted #1 on iTunes Rock charts, #3 iTunes overall. Um,
Damn.
charted on 3 of the main hard rock Billboard charts. So I've got, the giant Billboard plaque that's coming, probably in the next week or two.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's going to have all 3 charts we were on, the album cover artwork, all that stuff, and it'll be made out to me and everything. So yeah, it was just, essentially TikTok is what made this song as big as it ended up. And I can't stress to people enough, if you've got any sort of product that you're trying to reach a mass amount of people, that is a perfect way to do it. And it'll also help you get kind of creative with your marketing in itself. Like, all right, how can I take this product and capture, the audience and get even people that, there were so many people that were like, I'm not even a country fan, but I love this song, so I reached more than my targeted audience, because once a video starts going viral on TikTok, people are more apt to, they're more apt to watch the whole video because they'll see all the likes and the comments, when it scrolls across
Oh
the
yeah.
page, and they're like, oh, well, I got to see what this is about, and then you gain that person, then you gain the next one. I ended up at let's see, I think I'll pull it up right here. Yeah, I'm at just shy of 530,000 followers now on
Nice.
TikTok, and I've been on here since I think October.
Yeah.
So I mean that you're not going to get that kind of growth on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. It takes so long, and there's so much money involved just to get it out there. This was 100% free.
Right.
TikTok, I didn't have to pay to expose it to all these people. I actually got paid from TikTok because as soon as I hit 100,000 followers, they offered me to be a creator account. So I started that, and I ended up making that month that video went viral. I think I ended up making like $600 or $700.
Oh, that's not bad.
So I got paid
Yeah.
to chart my band and get it to all these people. So it's absolutely something anyone should take advantage of. I mean, free advertising, you
Mhm.
can't, I mean, how often do you come across that? And do it now before, they start catching on and going, you know what? We could actually charge people to do this,
Right,
so.
right. Well, I still think TikTok is in the infancy where
Hmm.
they want to give growth to the people, the adopters, the ones, the true believers, the people that
Yeah,
get on and say, I'm really going to commit to this. So they're really serving the algorithm
yeah,
very, very strong, very fast towards anybody who will do that. And then, of course, like you said, you want to utilize your marketing. You want to look at like what does a TikToker want to see, right? Like,
exactly. Yep.
what is somebody on TikTok when they're scrolling? Because it is kind of addictive. And
Hmm.
there's a couple times that I scrolled on TikTok, I caught myself like for some reason funny videos kept appearing.
Yeah,
And I just caught myself going, holy shit, that's hilarious.
yeah,
Holy shit, that's hilarious, right?
yep.
And you actually can find yourself going down like a hole. It's almost like when
Hmm.
you're bored, you just scroll and
Yeah,
scroll and scroll, and it's
yep.
definitely got that user experience to it that will suck you in. But then
Absolutely.
again, you also want to be very honorable to the platform, and
Yeah, yeah,
you
absolutely.
want to honor what people want to see on that because you'll get rewarded for that for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's the thing is TikTok, the way that their algorithms work as far as the user side of it is the more videos that you react to that are similar and have similar hashtags and stuff like that, the more that your For You page to each individual user is going to be updated to show more of that.
Sure.
So, one thing I have found is as far as the hashtags go, utilize any hashtags that you can that pertain to your video. You can get creative with it. You'll see trending hashtags all the time.
Hmm.
If you can make a video that can kind of relate to that hashtag somehow, then use it. If you can't, don't even use a trending hashtag, because chances are the reason it's trending is because people are liking that particular type of
Sure.
video that it's trending for. And if yours comes across and has nothing to do with it, they're just going to scroll right past, which is going to hurt your algorithm.
Right.
So it's all about, doing the correct hashtags and everything. So
Well, a lot of platforms they've moved away from that because it's not about tricking the platform anymore. Back in the
yeah,
past when we used to be able to take Google and smash a bunch of keywords in our websites and
yep,
make them like all white with a white background, and have like a
mm-hmm,
mile of like keywords written in there, and
yep,
Google would actually take that and read it, and we could trick them back then. But every change that any of these platforms make, they're making that change specifically because people will hack the system, right?
yeah,
And if they allowed people to put hashtags in there for non-related videos and actually get the same exposure as a related video,
mm-hmm,
then the whole platform would be ruined because nobody,
yeah, yep,
everybody would be trying to just sneak in the popular hashtags. And then if you went to the
exactly,
popular hashtag, you wouldn't even see what you were looking for.
yep,
So,
yep,
I believe all social media, that's what people don't realize today. It's like you've got to play their game. I mean, you really got to, if you want to win, you've got to win in a way that they want you to win, right?
yeah,
And
yep,
by bringing compelling content that fits into the narrative, you're keeping people on their platform.
oh
You
yeah,
know, you're
yep,
literally keeping people on their platform. I mean, that's why Facebook, for instance, if you run a post, you don't want to put the link in the post because especially if you're gearing them off of Facebook,
yeah,
because
yep,
Facebook immediately reads that and they're like, no,
absolutely,
we're going to smash the algorithm on that because you put a link in there.
mm-hmm.
And you got to
You're
kind of like
driving people
understand,
away. Yep.
yep, you're trying
That's
to
that
drive
we
people
were we
away.
were we were talking about that just the other day. Me and you were,
That's
and
right.
they have the option when you post up a video on TikTok, you can share it, and you can share it to people within TikTok through a message in there, like friends, um, or you can share it through Messenger and Instagram and stuff like that. And kind of like what you were saying, the more outside clicks, like they're going to reward you for that. So if I'm sending it to people in Messenger and they're clicking on it and it's bringing someone from Facebook side into TikTok, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, we like this guy. We're gonna give him a little more spread out over the For You page and help his
Yep.
algorithm out a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's you definitely have to play the game, that's for sure. And like I've told everyone, you have to be consistent with it. Because you're not just going to hop on there and your first week have some big viral video that's going to go crazy. You might, if you're lucky. It's kind of a lottery when you're first getting started, but it's just right off the bat, just be creative with your content and what you're trying to sell, and try to connect with bigger creators with big numbers. I've got a company that sent me this. They're Foxtrot Tactical, and they sent me. I mean, that sucker's
Nice.
pretty sweet. So they posted up a video the other day trying to do like a giveaway, and they only had like 200 or 300 views. And so I jumped on there and did a duet with their video, and my duet within like I don't know 5 or 6 hours had like 4 or 5 thousand views. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like if you team up with other people that have a following, that's a great way to do it too. I mean, this guy didn't lose anything for sending me this. It's like all he did was gain, and
Mhm.
but yeah, that's it. It really is like just utilizing everything that's in place there, and if you do that right off the get go, you'll have better success on it, and it won't take as long to spike things. Like me, I had no idea what I was doing when I first jumped on there. If I go back to my first videos, I'm like cringing. I'm like, this is so bad. Like, what was I even doing? Like, I'm just staring into the camera, like, what do I do? But now it's like I'm doing crazy transitions with, big influencers with millions of followers and stuff like that. And they're collabing with me and helping me out too. So it's really cool to see there's a really good uh, you'll find a lot of very genuine people and accepting people that are ready and willing to help you on there. And I'd be the same way. If anybody out there that's watching, wanted to send me a message, I would 100% be like, yeah, here, try this, maybe do this. If you've got a product idea you want to put out there, I'll help you figure out some way that's going to be trendy enough to keep people's attention span. You really have to grab someone's attention in the first 3 seconds on that app. Otherwise they're scrolling right past you. So
you're right, man. And that's in the marketing world, they call that a pattern interrupt. And essentially that just means you've got to do something that they are not used to seeing within the first 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yep.
Something, right?
Yep.
And it's so funny because when I was on TikTok, I was actually looking when I went on there the last time, I was looking to copy and do the Trump dance. So my wife has this idea that I'm going to dress up and do the Trump dance. And so that was actually trending on TikTok. That was a trending thing. I mean, there was a lot of people that are doing the dance that he had with his hands like this, and then he pulls them over and does the point. So it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious, right?
Yeah.
But that, regardless, if you're scrolling, man, I don't care who's doing that. That's going to catch your attention.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they'll do it with Trump right beside them. And there were some people that's the one thing I don't know that I could do is to get my dance down where I did it. Like they literally looked like they were dancing in tandem with that motherfucker. I mean, they were doing it just exactly the way that he was doing it.
Yep.
And it was hilarious, man. Yeah. I could just sit there and scroll through that shit for hours laughing at people trying to do the Trump dance.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly what it is you have to do something that is either along the lines of what's trending or something that isn't trending but is going to like grab them right off the bat. And once you do that, within that first 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, if you've got them that long, then you can change it up and do a quick throw in for what you're trying to promote or whatever, even if it's just holding your product up and being like, buy this, and then going back into whatever it was, and having a caption that says link in bio or something. And it's just, it's that subliminal. People will be like, oh, what was that? And they'll watch it again. They'll keep watching the video to see okay. Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm going to click on that, and they'll follow you. People are real quick to follow. If they like just one video of yours, they'll follow you. So, it's the biggest problem I see right now with TikTok is I have almost 530,000 followers, but when I post a video, that doesn't mean 530,000 people are going to see it.
Right.
Most people are stuck on their For You page, which is just scrolling through, seeing what matches with all your stuff. And then you've got your following page, which is over, and these are all the people that you follow. So if your average user is following, 5 to 10,000 people, what are the chances they're going to be on their following page and come across your video out of all the other ones? That's why it's staying consistent with hashtags, which I've just recently started doing, which has helped. Because if like I'm trying to build up hashtag the Rockstar J. So now every single video, so if somebody likes it, now that hashtag is in their algorithm. And every time they come across me, they're going to like my video. Well, now that hashtag is again in their algorithm. So it's going to better the chances of me being seen by my actual followers. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the one thing about that is that it's just like any other algorithm system, is that when you release it, they're going to serve it to like 5 to 10 people, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to base it off of these first 5 to 10 people's reactions on it. Yeah. And if a certain percentage react, they're actually going to give you weight. Like Facebook, for instance, They give you weight based on if somebody likes it, if somebody loves it, if somebody comments on it, and they give more weight to comments of comments. And they also know exactly if the person actually read it. They know if they hit the see more button and they actually read it before they liked it, which is so crazy. But have you heard the old thing how Facebook, Facebook's also, whenever you're creating your content, is a lot like your old lady, they actually time the amount of time that you stay down in the box.
Yeah.
So as you're typing in that box, Facebook literally puts more weight to like people who take longer time in there actually typing. That's why I've been kind of hesitant, because I used to do it in my notes, and I still do that sometime, and I'll copy and paste from my notes into my Facebook,
Yeah.
But Facebook will actually knock your algorithm for that. If they see that you're sitting there typing for 10 minutes in that box, erasing and rewriting and, all what we do when we're actually writing long copy, they freaking will give you more algorithm boost for that. They feel it's something that's more meaningful.
Yeah, because you're spending the time on it rather than just a copy and paste status. I mean, they don't know if you're doing it from your notes or if you're doing it from somebody else's timeline.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the same as far as the TikTok side of things is they they'll batch group it, to your first, I think it's anywhere from 50 to 100 people roughly is where it'll show up. And then after that, I think it'll go up to like 500, then jump up to 1,000, then jump up to 2,500. And it'll slowly spread it more and more on the For You page to people that don't necessarily follow you, to see what their reactions are. And the better response it gets, I feel like if it stays 20 to 25%, of views versus likes, like if you have your likes at 25% of your views, you have a very good chance of a viral video. But even at like 10 to 15%, your video will just die off super quick. So it's all about that interaction. I had one where I was like, double tap the screen if you enjoyed this, because double tapping the screen likes it. So, it's just like I'm screwing around with the double tap your screen and see what happens. Oh, thanks for the like, So it's it's weird the way it works. A lot of people are still trying to even figure out the actual algorithm for TikTok, because it's so sporadic sometimes. Sometimes you'll just see a video and you're like, how did that even go viral? Like it doesn't even make sense, but it did. Yeah. And hey, good for them. So
right. And you could always pull the old trick occasionally. Like I'll go through Instagram, and a lot of my Instagram feed is like motivational quotes and stuff like that. It's really the pages that I follow the most, or I go to and interact with the most. Yeah. And you'll get occasionally they'll post like a big stack of cash, and it'll say, double tap this stack of cash if you want to have money blessed on you, or some shit like that, like really fucking tricking you into like where it really makes you stop and think, and you're like, oh, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Well, here you go. All right, on we go. Yeah, right. Damn superstition, man, gets you occasionally, but that's like something you could probably do on TikTok,
Oh, absolutely.
Out at the end of the video, try to, bait them into doing it. You were talking about something earlier, the hypnotic talk stuff, and I actually talk about that on some of the previous podcasts. I probably shouldn't have given this away, because now I'm going to have to change it up, but for the longest time on my webinars, I'm into what you call, like when I do a webinar, I like to make a lot of micro commitments. And essentially, I like to keep people's heads shaking yes the entire time while I'm talking on the webinar. I like to ask them, be like, hey, are you guys, everybody having a good time right now? Hey, are you guys getting it? And I'll say things like, by now you're getting it. And that actually services two things. Is actually talk about hypnotic talk and something in the subconscious. I'm actually saying by now you're getting it.
Yeah.
Or are you, or you're getting it.
Right.
So throughout
Yep.
the whole webinar, I'm saying things like that, and it's a technique that I learned from a marketing friend of mine, and it's called micro commitments, and it's something that I use on stage as well when I'm talking on stage. Is
Hmm.
that I always want to be asking yes questions,
Right.
all the
Yeah.
time. You don't want to ask no questions. Every time somebody says this, they're more inclined to say that at the end when you
Yeah.
present your offer.
Yep. Yep.
And but there's a lot of little things that you can do, not only with that, but also what we were talking about with the pattern interrupts.
Hmm.
One of my favorite pattern interrupts that I used in the past was flipping the video upside down for a split second.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning, just cutting the video, flipping the frame upside down, and then flipping it right side up.
Yeah. Just
Something as simple as
because
that.
yeah, because people aren't expecting it.
They're not
You know,
expecting it.
they're expecting everything upright, and then yeah, you come across something where somebody's upside down. You're like, it makes
Did
you
they make a
stop for a
mistake?
minute to actually like register what you're seeing, and by that point, you have their attention. So
Did they make a mistake?
yeah,
And people, I will tell you, people love mistakes, by the way. People love to see other people make mistakes.
oh, absolutely,
Um, some of my most viral emails and copywriting, all that stuff has started with, I made a huge mistake. And then I'll go on and write this whole thing where you have to read it all the way to the bottom until you find what the mistake is.
yeah, yep,
And that's always been like when it comes to the emails, whoops, we made a mistake, or fuck, I really
yeah,
fucked up on this one. You know?
yep,
Them are the emails and everything that everybody wants to open. They just want to catch you. So it might be even, I would go to say that if you could do a pattern interrupt at the beginning that looks like you made a mistake, like you dropped your phone or something and picked it up real quick.
right, yeah,
And
yeah,
because people are just like, oh, you made a mistake.
yeah, exactly.
Like we love seeing people. It's so bad though, isn't it? Right? But we
Oh
still love
yeah,
it. We're like,
yeah,
oh, they're not perfect like me. They're not
yeah.
perfect like me.
It's
All right.
just like driving
Thank God, I
by
thought
and
everybody was perfect on Instagram. Fuck.
yeah.
Somebody's like me.
It's the same instinct as driving by a car crash. You
Yeah.
always slow down and you're like, damn, that is fucked up. That car got fucked up, and you're just
Yeah.
like, but it's an instinct to do it, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
And most
glad that wasn't me.
most traffic jams are not created by the fucking or by the car accident.
Yeah,
Most of them are created by people slowing down to look at the
to
fucking
stare at it. Yeah,
stare at it. That literally happened to me. Was it this morning on the way back to my house, man? Somebody, I'm just like, of course, I'm angry because the person in front of me, I'm like, what are you doing? You
right.
going? And then I stop and I slow down while I'm driving by.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a traffic jam. Oh, traffic jam.
Trying to figure out how it happened and all that stuff. It just makes you overanalyze stuff, which
Makes
is
you overanalyze it.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, literally, our whole house, like for some reason, the ambulance was across the street at my neighbor's house. And I'm up early in the morning. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
yeah.
I'd be upstairs. I'm like, hey, honey. She's like, what? I'm like, the ambulance is at the neighbor's house. She's like, really?
Yeah.
Immediately. Pattern interrupt. Whoop.
Looking through the blinds, like,
Yeah.
what's going on over there?
Who are they carrying out? Should I run over there and help somebody?
Right?
I
didn't like that neighbor anyway.
Oh man, that's great, man. So well, big dog, is anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to drop today? Is there anything, like, let's just say somebody just starting on TikTok, just getting involved, man. How many times a day, like, would you recommend them to post? You know what I mean? Like, how do you start out on something like that?
Basically, the best way to do it is figure out how often you want to post before you start posting. Because they're going to look at consistency as far as how much they're going to push your videos. So that was one of the mistakes I made as I started wavering off from what I was posting and what times I was posting. So you basically want to figure out, as you grow, you'll be able to get into your analytics and stuff like that, and you'll be able to see when your followers are on most of the time when your videos do the best and stuff like that. So the best thing to do is figure out, okay, I want to do a post, or around 11:30 every day and around 6:30 every day,
Right.
and start with like two videos, one kind of for the earlier crowd and one right when the later crowd, people are getting off work. I feel like the 11:30 works because people are starting to get their lunch breaks and stuff like that, especially for us over this side of the country,
Yeah.
because it's going to start getting out to people in our time zone. And then as that video is building momentum, it's going to start hitting the next group of people on the time zone behind us that are just hitting their lunch breaks. So now
Makes
they're
sense.
going to get it. So it's just going to help keep that video rolling, and getting more exposure as people are kind of trickling in from that. So that kind of between 11 and 12 o'clock thing seems to work pretty good. And then the other one would be, right around your, like, I say between like 5:30, 6:30, when you've got your people getting off of work. Maybe they're just getting home. Maybe they're carpooling and just sitting there on TikTok on their, drive back home, whatever it be, stuck in rush hour traffic. People are always on their phones in rush hour traffic.
Or
You're not
driving and
moving
looking at your
anywhere.
phone at the same time,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. You're like, TikTok.
oh, what's going on TikTok,
Yeah.
man? Yeah, I'm driving. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, that one seems to work pretty good too. And start with kind of those two times, because really, I mean, when it comes down to it, anybody who is marketing a product, you're marketing a product to people who are going to buy it, which in most conditions are your everyday working people. So you kind of plan it around when those people are going to be on.
Unless you're selling like crack or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you're selling crack, I mean, shit, post it
Market
whenever
that
you want.
shit
I mean,
probably, in the evenings, maybe. I think I've seen like most people doing crack in the evenings.
yeah. You want to catch it just before their crack time, though, so they know to
Yeah.
use you next time. But,
Dude, I knew a group of crackheads, dude. And, like I haven't been shy about this. Like one of my best friends growing up was a crack dealer, and it was just normal for us. We were just like, he's trying to make money, or whatever.
right.
And, but I still remember this group of crackheads, and what they would do is they would go up and they had like this group that would meet and they would all smoke crack in the evening. So yeah, they'd be doing crack in the evenings, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they're doing much TikToking, but they'd be doing crack in the evenings. They would all
Right.
had jobs and shit, and they would all meet together and smoke crack. And I still remember this. They would all, after they ran out of all their crack, like everybody runs out of their crack, right? They would go and look around on the carpet because all of them thought that somehow a piece of crack fell in the carpet.
Oh, Jesus.
So every night these guys would get together, smoke a bunch of crack, and then go search through the carpet like once their crack ran out, trying to find more crack, and hoping that like a piece popped out or something like that when they were smoking it. And they just and one of my other good friends, like he basically turned into a crackhead.
Ugh.
And he would tell me about these things that they would do. And it was just, it was really interesting. So every night they'd spend between smoking the crack and then digging around in the carpet, thinking a piece fell out. He said occasionally they'd find one. Could you imagine how happy a bunch of crackheads would be?
Then they'd be fighting over it.
Found the piece, like, oh, look, we found one. All these years we've been searching around the carpet. There's a piece of crack down here. Let's smoke it, all of us.
Stories from the crackheads, man, I tell you.
Stories from crackhead.
Hey, there's marketability everywhere. There's a market everywhere. There's a market for everyone. So
I still remember how they used to get people hooked on crack. It'd start with cocaine. People would start doing a little toot every now and again, and they'd do some cocaine, and then all of a sudden they'd come to get some crack off Jerome or some cocaine off Jerome, and he would say he had to go real fast, and he would give them their shit and take their money and leave, and they'd have a big bag of crack there in their hands, right? So And this is so bad that I'm telling you this, but this is honestly how a crack dealer markets to people, right? They get these people that want cocaine, and they realize they can't make as much money off cocaine. And then at one point, they act like they're real busy, and they give you a bag, and then you leave. And here you thought you're going to have your cocaine for the night, and all you got's a big bag of crack. So you got a choice. Either you give up your night of cocaine, and you wait to find Jerome the next day and trade it back in for a bag of or trade your crack back in for your cocaine, or you fucking go smoke the shit. And there's a lot of people that, you know, didn't want to ruin their night or something like that. They'd go smoke the crack, and now they're a crackhead.
Right. Now that right there is a marketing savage. If there ever was one.
Marketing savage.
That is savage as fuck right there.
It's horrible, really, man. Like, but I don't like, I've talked about this before, man. Like where I grew up and like the way everybody was, we didn't really look at it like that was a bad thing.
Yeah.
We just looked at it like, you know, hey, Jerome's out there making money. I mean, you know,
like kids in the suburbs looked at weed, you know, they were like, that ain't nothing, you know?
yeah, man. I mean, there's a little bit did I ever tell you about the time my brother-in-law, he ended up at one point selling a lot of weed, you know, back in the day. You know, this is done and over with. He doesn't do it now. He got like the scare of his life and got out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, you know, I actually tried to give him a legit job, and I had him selling a product that I was marketing back then called Strike Force. And this was like a sealant back that goes over car dealerships, automotive cars. And it was a lot like, you remember like Xylon back in the day, like them products that were like clear products. Like
I was just say like the spray on stuff that they would use.
Today that's the fancy stuff. This is like pre Ceramicoat days.
Mm-hmm.
And he would walk in there and go to sell one of these, you know, Strike Force kits. I would give him the pamphlets, the brochures, and all that. I'm like, dude, you're a drug dealer, man. You can sell shit to anybody. I'm like, get in there and sell it, right? And he was getting laughed out of the car dealerships because he was trying to present it like it was drugs.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, you don't do that, man. Like he would walk in and be like, hey, man, you guys looking for some of that Strike Force? he'd pull it out and be like, this is some pretty good shit, man.
You won't find anything else like this. This is the best stuff in the city,
This is
man.
the best shit ever, right? This stuff is this is the chronic, man.
Your first one is free.
Yeah, we'll put the first one on for free.
Oh shit.
But yeah, he came back to me like very embarrassed, and he's just like, man, he's like, I just feel really embarrassed, man. I walked in there and like they all started laughing at me, and he wasn't used to this in the drug dealing world, right? You don't get laughed at in the drug dealing world, man. You can fucking Tony Montana somebody, right? Somebody laughs at you in the drug dealing world. It's like, I come back with my little friend.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like you just don't do that.
Oh shit.
But
who would have thought we'd start talking about crack, you know? It's like
this podcast goes everywhere, bro. Like it goes
right?
everywhere. You should have heard the other day, me and the wife was talking, and she admitted that she sniffed one of my dog's butts.
Oh Jesus.
On the podcast. And I'm like, why did you sniff one of the dog's asses? And she goes, well, I wiped poop off of their butt, and then I was checking to see if there was any. I'm like, so you sniffed it? And she's like,
just rewipe it with clean paper.
I'm like, did you do that to John when he was a baby? She goes, well, I sniffed his butt to check, you know. And I'm like, well, I'm sure every parent, I guess, every mom anyway, does that where they pull up the kid and they're like, oh God, you know, right? I'm like, but do you sniff his butt after you clean it off? Because that's what you did to the dog. And it basically became a whole podcast talking about how she sniffed the dog's butt.
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, and
we woke up, she did that.
We woke up the next day and she goes, I can't believe I told people on the podcast that I sniffed the dog's butt.
Oh, shit. That's funny, man. That is funny.
And we did that without, we do that now, Jay, without even drinking.
Oh, nice.
You remember the old drinking podcast days, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I was on a couple of those.
Everybody ends up with their shirts off and shit like that.
Yeah, there was a handful of times that me, you, and a few other people that were a little bit crazy all ended up on at the same time. And I tell you what.
Man, It was almost like
That was
having a
some fun
party
times.
online, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and everybody else is just sitting there watching, and we forget we're even doing it. We're all just
We
hanging
forget
out.
that we're fucking podcasting, man. I still remember that we went on one time to like after midnight. It was like 1 o'clock. It was like the longest, like 3 hour podcast or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was me, you, and we had Wade and Woody and
Yeah.
Marissa, and like everybody was on there.
Yep.
And we all realized at the same moment that we were still recording and we were still live on Facebook. And we're like, fuck. We're like, holy shit, we're live. And there was still one person watching, and we said something, and it was James Lee. James motherfucking Lee. He's
James.
like, I'm with you guys. I'm with you.
Oh, I love that dude. He's awesome.
Yeah. So, but man,
Yep.
good times, bro. Good times, man. Well, hey, them are a lot of great tips that you gave us. And like I said, I'm going to commit to getting on TikTok. And I've especially heard that, like, the motivational stuff and things like that I like to drop is starting to become very popular.
Oh, extremely. Yeah, man. Anybody with some sort of positive attitude, on there definitely has like a better chance at going viral or doing something like that. So it's definitely who's here, Chris?
My bad.
That's all right. Hey, give me a second. I'm wrapping up here. But yeah, no, definitely. Like, there's a creator on there, Blue Eyed Darkness, and she does a lot of like positivity stuff and paints her face all up, as Skullsy is her character and stuff. And she like blew up to, she's got over 1.5 million followers. And it's all from doing stuff like that, like literally just doing like videos like that.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that shit, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and she does. Me and her have done a couple videos together as a collab and stuff like
dope.
that.
Yeah.
And, she's a super cool person and all that stuff. And you find creators on there like that. And the ones that are very positive and very motivational are the ones that have the biggest response to people following them and getting their stuff more likely to go viral. So, I've had some trouble with our newest song. Maybe I'll play like a 30 seconds of it on our way out or something like that.
Yeah.
But because our new song that I'm trying to get people to pre-save is called Two Middle Fingers. So it's two middle fingers up, don't give a fuck. And that's hard to push on a platform where positivity is like I'm trying to like figure out, okay, can I make a video of me as like a, working a counter somewhere, like being fed up with customers, retail sucks, you just get to that point where you're just like,
or something about fuck your haters, man, because that's a positive thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've actually used that for a couple of them. I did like an infomercial type thing where I was walking by and it was like, hey, you. And I like look at the camera. It's like, yeah, you. Are you sick of people hating on you? Do you wish there was a theme song? And I'm like, yeah, and then it goes into it. But, they're just taking that audio and they're suppressing how far it'll actually reach. So,
yeah,
what can you do? You just keep pushing it and hoping that, at some point it'll slip through the cracks and go big. So
right on, man. Right on.
Yeah. Just
right on, Jay. So awesome, brother. So is there anywhere, we're about ready to wrap it up. We're 43 minutes into the podcast, and is there any links or anything like that you can drop us where people can connect with you and check you out? So I'm sure we got some TikTokers up in here and some Instagram peeps.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So let us know.
Yep. www.therockstarj.com. That'll get you to everything. It'll have all my social links in there. It'll have stuff to, like Warren Star clothing, which I'm wearing right now, with deals from them, Red Devil Beard Company, deals with them, plus all the, all my socials, pre-saves for, any of the new music, like my Two Middle Fingers pre-save is right up there on top. So yeah, it's therockstarj.com. Easy enough.
That sounds good, man. And you kind of, that's a link tree kind of like deal where it's a website, but it's a link tree for you.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I use Campsite, but I have it set up through, to where people go rather than campsite.com slash whatever,
Sure.
it's just linked everything up to where it's just the
Well,
rockstarj.com.
that's cool. Well,
And
that's good
yeah,
information. That's why I wondered because, a
yeah.
lot of people use that on different social medias and I use it as well.
It's
But it's good to see that it actually worked and that it helped you sell your pre-sale.
Oh, absolutely. It's because it's simple for people
Hmm.
to get to.
I noticed
Like,
it. I seen it when I was
yeah,
checking out your
it's
links. Yep.
super
Easy
easy.
enough.
And I got the animation there for the two middle fingers save, but people can click any of the icons there, and it'll take them right to my social media pages, and they can follow, like, comment, whatever from there. So yeah,
Okay.
it's cool.
Sounds good, my man. Well, hey, I appreciate having you on, man. Tons of awesome information and knowledge that all of the Marketing Savage peeps can use. And brother, appreciate you. And as usual, y'all, I'm gonna see you on that next one. Did you want to play something while we're bouncing out?
Yeah, I'll
Let's
play a
play
little
it.
bit here, and then you can roll out from it.
We'll play it, man. Let some peeps hear a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. Get over there and pre-save that, y'all.
That's right.
All right, guys. I'm gonna see you on that next one. Appreciate it, Jay.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.